Grandfather, how did the Terminids and the humans come to be at war with each other perpetually?
Well, that's a fine question there, Jimmy. Gather round, kids, and it's time to break down the history of the Terminids and the humans and what happened between them.
Oh boy, do I love story time with Grandfather.
Well, you see, children, it all started millions upon millions of years ago when a mommy dinosaur loved a daddy
Grandfather, we know about the dinosaurs already.
Oh, sorry, Jimmy. What was I telling you about again? Oh, there. Oh, the Terminids, right, the Terminids. Back when I was just a wee lad
And I could talk like a normal man. The humans, they began expanding into space. And what was the first thing they did? Of course, they looked for new and profitable worlds to visit, and what did they find? A large species of relatively sentient bugs. At first, the humans were reasonable, and they did try diplomacy, and they tried to work out some nice relationships with the bugs. But soon, very soon, the humans realized, hey, those bugs have element 710 in them. Which, by the way, if you flip element 710 over, it literally just says oil. So, of course, the human explorers looked at them and thought, hey, why are we talking to the bugs when we could just squeeze them and get oil? So, like any reasonably enterprising explorer would think when they're traveling in their galaxy, they thought, all right, so if we're going to be setting up humans on these new planets here, what if we made those humans work for our benefit? And we brought in the Terminids and kept them in nice enclosed containers here, and then just squeezed them a lot, and it's got all the oil out of them. Now, if you've ever seen any movie like Planet of the Apes or anything like that, you must be thinking right now, there's no possible way this can go wrong. Keeping these creatures in captivity has no flaws, they'll never escape, they'll be fit. Oh no, they've escaped. Yeah, of course they escaped. The bugs escaped, they started procreating on the planets they were on, and taking over and wiping everyone out. So what's the only reasonable human response here? Since this is the super Earth government of our incredibly beautiful managed democracy, could they ever possibly say, oh no, we've had a containment breach, we need to send people in to clean up this containment breach and make sure these bugs don't spread? No. That'd be a PR nightmare. Instead, what Super Earth decided to do is they're like, we should say the Terminids are invading and we need to wipe them out. This couldn't have possibly been our fault. Nothing we did could have caused this. We need to send in the Helldivers. And now that is how an originally peaceful race of the Terminids, who actually initially did not have any quarrel with the humans, wound up trying to violently wipe them off their planets, because the humans brought them over, took advantage of them, and the bugs are like, I don't like that. I think we're going to stop that, and we're going to take over their planets now. And now we have eternal conflict between the Terminids and the humans.
Grandfather, tell me about the different bugs. I want to know about the different kinds of bugs. Grandfather, tell me now. Of course, little Jimmy. Do you really think I would leave out the fun and gory details of all the bugs I fought in the Terminid human wars? Let me just get my super whiteboard of managed democracy.
Now, this may be a little treasonous here for me to tell you the secrets of the bugs, and managed democracy may not want you to know it, but you know what? It's important if you're going to kill the bugs yourself. There's a theory here about the bugs that I want to share. Now, looking at our first bug here, we have the smallest ones, the scavengers. The orange one does not spew toxic venom at you, but if there's a swarm of them, they can still take you down if you're not paying any attention. And the green variety, found in a little bit higher level missions, does spew venom at you, which doesn't do much damage, but does slow you down. That can be an issue. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, oh god, is this guy just gonna go throw the bugs? I know what the bugs are. I've played the damn game. To hold your horses, I actually have a theory here that I am gonna jump right into. And I have to give credit where credit's due, because this is not my theory alone. I was scrolling Twitter one day, and I saw here from Helldivers Alerts that could the bugs be evolutions of each other? These are not separate species of bugs. They are all the same species of bug, but they're just in different stages of evolution. And I want to break down how true that could probably be. For starters, let's sit down and look at the scavenger here. Looking at the scavenger, what's some important body features we see here? 4 legs, right? It's got 3 joints in each spot here. One there, one there, one there. And we've also got 2 little arm mandible things here, we'll call them. And we've also got a very big thorax here. Remember all those features. We'll be looking at them again later. Let's step up the ladder on the size of bug a little bit here. The warrior, the next largest bug, not too much a threat, can't really take you down too easily, but they'll get you if you're not paying attention. What do we see? 4 legs, bigger, 2 mandibles, much larger and sharper, but still 2 front mandible things here. Same 3 joints. This is looking like the same bug to me, just a little larger. This one here does not spew any venom at you, so likely the orange variety. And now, sit down and think about that orange versus green variety here. Is that possible? This could be a male versus female bug thing here? I think possibly. Now, which one's male, which one's female? I'm going to say it blindly here, but I do have reasoning and evidence to back it up later. I'm going to say the orange one here is probably male, and the green one is probably female. Now, climbing our way up the size ladder of bugs again here, we've got the Brood Commander, who is much more aggressive, much more of a threat to you. We've also got 4 legs, 3 joints in each leg, 2 front claws. This looks like a bigger version of the warrior, if you ask me, so I'm just going to say it's an older version of the warrior. It's possibly won some fights against other bugs in its species. It's got seniority. Other bugs listen to this bug. They follow this bug. That's why this one's in charge. It's the oldest, most senior bug of the group. Now, shifting gears away from the Brood Commander a little, but still likely on the male side of the bugs here, we've got the Hive Guard. It's the one with the big armored face, and you shoot at it and all the bullets bounce off. Very annoying. But I tell you what, this is probably an evolution of the warrior that changed up its anatomy to be able to defend the hive from, I don't know, say attackers, humans, other predators, anything. Looking here at everyone's absolutely favorite bug to run into when there's 15 of them spawning, and then you're running with an SSD, you need to get to the mission checkpoint, and then more keep spawning in front of you, and I'm off track here. The Charger. The Charger here is big and heavily armored. But doesn't this armor look pretty similar to the Hive Guard, just, you know, much more armored? I would say this is just an older version of the Hive Guard. This is just a real crusty, angry old Hive Guard. But now that we've gone down the trail of large bugs on what I'm calling the male side of the bugs here, let's go back a moment here. So we had the warrior, and we also have the hunter. The hunter looks a little different. It seems to have a lot lighter armor, still got the 4 legs, still got the 2 mandibles, but it's sprouted little wings. Now, why do I think this is? I think this is still the same species of bug, but it is adapted to hunt food for their broods here. Look at it. It's got wings, it can jump faster. You all know it can jump faster and further because they always jump at me. And I swear, they just hunt me down until I run out of stims and I'm done. That's just it. I don't like the hunters. Okay, anyways, but that's not the point here. This bug here might excel at going out and yoinking other bugs from other broods, or maybe back in the day when they weren't ruling the planet, catching other prey animals that were out in the wilds. But then, let's go up a little bit here. The Stalker looks like exactly a bigger version of the Hunter. And if we think about that for a second, there's Stalker lairs. So that probably means maybe these bugs go off on their own, they collect a bunch of food, store them in these lairs, and then bring them back to the whole brood. That's quite possible. And let's take a look at that biology again. Got 4 legs here, same 3 joints, it's got some real vicious claws on it, and the wings are bigger. And interestingly enough, it's developed the ability to cloak itself. And let's think about that cloaking for a minute, because that's very interesting. I would say early on in a bug society, when there was other prey animals around they wanted to catch, this cloaking would be fantastic. They wouldn't see you coming. But how could that cloaking be useful when all of the bugs have taken over and it's a purely bug culture planet? Well, you know, for current militaries, we have the special forces that are good at sneaking in, taking care of business, and never being seen. The Stalker bug here, if it were to sneak into, say, another brood of bugs, take out that brood commander because it's cloaked, get out unseen, that would be a fantastic ability for a tribe of bugs to get on top of the other. So that's pretty much all the bugs that are orange, and I'm assuming here male, based on some of my conclusions. Let's move on to the green bugs that I'm assuming are female here, and I'll tell you why. So looking here at the Biosphere, let's take a look at that biology quick here. We've got 4 legs, no noticeable front claws here, which makes me think, it's probably not really meant for fighting. But what could this large thorax be here, and why does it spit so much gunk at you? These bugs could be fantastic at defending a nest. And would they be defending them from? Back in the early stages of bug culture, maybe other predators on their planet that want to come in and steal their eggs. Now in modern day, humans, automatons, anything. That corrosive bile is going to take out anything. Now, moving up to our largest bug on the list here, the Bile Titan. Why do I specifically think the green ones are female? There's a couple reasons here. If we look at many types of bugs on Earth, like the praying mantis, the females actually tend to be bigger. And then this is the largest bug we have around. Not a coincidence, I'm thinking. But one more final piece of evidence why I think the Bile Titan is the largest of the female bugs here. If you're doing a Destroy the Eggs mission, take a look around. How did those eggs get up so high on the mountain? Could these bugs have climbed? Maybe? They don't look terribly built for climbing though, considering the spiky legs. More likely than not, this really tall Bile Titan evolved to be tall so it could lay eggs up higher. If you lay the eggs up higher, less predators can get to them. So this absolutely massive bug here is probably able to lay those eggs up high, whereas none of these other ones could. And considering that the Bile Titan still likes to spit corrosive goo on everything in sight, this would also be fantastic at defending the nest that it's laid. And since this is the largest bug, we can assume this might be like the queens of their society. Now I suspect the Bile Titan is not actually the biggest bug in the galaxy here. And this is pure conjecture and hypothesis, but I think these bugs may operate similar to the Terminids of 40k universe, which We sit here and look at that name for a minute. Terminids. Terminids. They couldn't have possibly had any inspiration for the bug's name. Don't think so at all. That's not related. Can't be. But the Terminids in the 40k universe work off a very large bug hive mind. And I suspect here the Terminids have a similar feature, and that's how they coordinate so well. How else would they be able to call in patrols so easily and call in more bugs to take you out? Where's the threat? Something's got to let the other bugs know. And we know the little bugs put out pheromones. We can see them putting out pheromones when they're calling in other bugs. But again, with my hypothesis here, that hive mind can pick up on those pheromones, and then based on the pheromones themselves, they can determine what kind of response is needed. I'm going to assume those little bugs put some information in those pheromones, whatever, to say, hey, we have this kind of danger, we need this kind of response. And then the hive mind can dispatch some bugs, which would explain the different difficulty levels. If the bugs think it's a low-level threat, they're only going to send a few little ones. If they think it's a really high-level threat, like a Helldive difficulty mission, they're going to send a lot of bugs to deal with the threat. Anyways, this has been my absolutely unhinged TED Talk about the Terminids of the Helldivers 2 universe. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you found it interesting. If you have any different thoughts on the Terminids might have came to be, some of their lore, because unfortunately, Arrowhead has confirmed very little info about them, so we're working off little bits and pieces here from logs and whatnot. I'd love to hear it down below. Consider leaving a comment about your thoughts, and I'd love if you hit that like button if you liked the video, and consider hitting subscribe if you want to stay tuned for more absolutely unhinged videos. Grandfather, that sounded like complete unhinged hogwash that goes against all the principles of managed democracy. I'm reporting you as a treasonous fool. Oh, dearie me, he's caught on. I gotta get out of here. Goodbye, kids.